Now, pour the tea.
Good afternoon, good evening, good night, good morning, wherever you happen to be. Here we go.
That's my mood.
Wake up.
She's on her crap already.
My name is Kia, and this is
Alyssa.
And we're here for Pour the Tea.
I'm just playing y'all. Alyssa. Ciao. It's been a while, hasn't it?
Yes, as Steven brought up, it has been a while. So,
Ciao.
but also, like we stated, we've been really busy in these houses cleaning. Yeah. So, sorry.
I'm sorry. When did you say our last episode was?
April 3rd.
That was how many days before we opened our business?
12.
Okay, then. There we go. So you see why.
Final touches were being put in place. Y'all started right after we got back from Mania.
Wow.
Yes.
There you go. So now you see why we've been busy.
Also, we've been successful. Number two. Hey.
Number 2 in our metro Atlanta area. So
you can't mess with the, what are we called now?
The dynamic duo. That wasn't creepy
at all.
We gonna mind our business. Anyway, but in all seriousness, it has been a while. But we're back now.
And we're going to try to keep up. We figured there's so many topics that are thrown around for like WWE, Raw, SmackDown, NXT. I figured like between me and you, we already sit on the couch and we're already talking about them anyway.
Yeah, man.
And so I feel like we could probably keep up and try to do, I don't know, maybe one or two shows a month, depending on where we're sitting at on our schedule.
Yeah, I was about to say, it really just comes down to the schedule, y'all.
And the topics.
It's
got to be a topic that, I'm invested in, I'm interested in. It's got to be the right set of circumstances and the people.
But this is one that we could not pass up.
So I am so excited. Also, there's so much to unpack.
I had to move my glasses down to the bridge.
Here she go. There's so much to unpack with this topic that we're going to be talking about today. And in case you're just now joining us, if you look at what's going on the screen, you're going to see what we're going to be talking about. It will be the Wyatt Sicks. And when it comes to just the name, I find it to be interesting that they don't spell it like the Six.
Yeah, they play it. They have a word play on it. What is that called?
Onomatopoeia.
There you go. They have a play on words there. It's the Six.
I have the degree. I like to show it off sometimes. Oh, look, we just lost half our viewing audience.
But no. They have the word play in there. I think it's cool. Like,
I do too.
I'm just like, dang. But they got to make sure they do it right.
That's what was stated. And like you said, that's what was stated when Uncle Howdy came around the first time, and he was here the first time. He did really well just for the appearances that he did, and then everybody was saying if and when he comes back, they've got to do his character right, because with many others, if you come in and your character is done poorly, that's going to show you where you're kind of headed. You're going to be kind of headed to the back. So the fact that this was planned out, this was well thought out, not just by all the characters that are involved, but clearly Triple H, Shawn Michaels probably had some involvement, Nick Aldis, Adam Pearce, everybody that is actually having to kind of, what do I want to say, play like the victims that were like,
I like how everybody's hands were eat for everyone.
Yeah,
like,
there was nobody spared.
Nobody spared. I was thoroughly creeped out. Like,
and you know what creeped me out? What creeped me out the most, outside of seeing everybody in the backstage segment, the door. Okay, so we're gonna make a statement. Did we see
What's
how
your show? You can make as many statements as you want.
Did we see how Drew and Jay dipped out? Drew got
they were gone. I'm talking about Jay. He up there. Yeah, it's just me who's just qualified. Yeah. And then them lights went off. He said, "Deuces, child." He was ready. He was ready.
He did his one interview with Kayla, because Kayla stopped him to the interview, and in the interview it stated before we get back to it, the interview stated that it's like, yeah, I qualified for Money in the Bank. I'm gonna go do my thing. This, that, the third. She's like, and he's like, Caleb's like, so what do you think about what happened tonight? He's like, I don't want no smoke. I don't want
the fireflies.
Y'all can have the fireflies back. I don't want no problem with this family. I liked having them. They could have them back. And Caleb, by the way, I'm leaving. You better be out too. Did you?
You better go find some safety.
He said, did you see?
Like a chip.
Right? Did you see what he said? He's like, did you see that girl? And y'all should have seen when that interview was exclusive. Y'all should have seen his face. And after that, I didn't hear a word of him until what? SmackDown or to the following Raw that's coming up, or the interviews online. Yeah.
Chill, that's the last I've seen him.
Right, and Drew got out, and so we didn't see
Drew was gone too.
He did. He it's like he knew.
It's like a chip.
It's like they knew.
They did.
But the thing with that is the moment that door appeared, you knew something was about to happen.
You heard the first click on the piano.
You knew?
And you were just, my heart sunk.
Because
I was like, why is the show, like, why are they qualifying so fast?
Right.
And then you heard a little ding. I said, oh, well.
But you know what it means for us, right? We better dip too. We better be out too.
Child, I just started sitting farther back in my seat like this, like they was gonna come get me through the TV. I was like,
So when you saw that door, and for everybody that knows, that door has an importance. That I think that was, I want to say, the last door that I think Bray walked through or walked into before the situation of what happened, may he rest in peace, happened to him. But seeing Abby the Witch, my bad. Seeing Abby the Witch and who it was played by.
Child, her crawling out that thing. Oh my gosh.
And that smoke.
I was just like, okay, she can stop now because I watched The Ring one too many times.
Right,
now. I thought she was gonna come through that tape.
Right.
She was coming through that TV. I was gonna be like, hey, stay over there. It's gonna turn to scary movie. Or I ain't got time.
But you know how we like our scary movies too. But also we like to be talking ish about them on the other side. Y'all see on the other side of the screen. But what I liked about it, and if you think about it, her character and the way her character came out. She did her long-term storytelling after Alexa and her parted ways, and that was a downfall after she wasn't like Nikki ASH, and that happened, and whatnot, and she was just kind of walking, in a trance around the different like Raw and SmackDown. So the fact that Nikki did some long-term storytelling, for me, I feel like that's a good thing to kind of play off of. And then the fact that she came back in the manner that she did as Abby the Witch.
Came back like that. Then all you saw was her get up. She stood up, did that little point, and then we just went on that little journey with them. I can't be the only one who sat back farther like, wait, I don't know if I want to go. I'm sitting there on the couch like this, like wait, I don't want to go.
Okay,
what am I about to see?
The couch can suck me in now.
Please, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Down across the bottom.
But I like how she just looked at the camera and she pointed her finger to the back. And the camera, and y'all know, and I think Steven made a statement, and I think we kind of heard it. All of this, one take. Beautiful. You love to see it. So for me, when she did that and we started following back and we started seeing the different characters, because I'm sitting here looking at who are the different characters and why would they put these people into these characters, and then we saw the massacre, and like Alyssa said, be for everyone. They came for everybody, but
I'm telling you, you just saw
blood
and carnage. You saw the flickering of the lights, like this. The setup was perfect.
It was beautiful. And then all that smoke.
The smoke, it was eerie. Every time you turn around, you'd see a new character. And you're like, oh my gosh, like, please don't come out the TV. Like, literally, I was like, please don't come out of the TV. Because I was over here like.
I'm looking at, and for me, you have to think, I'm looking at the different people, the heights, and who could everybody be. The only one I knew outside of Nikki was probably Rowan. Am I correct? Okay, Rowan, because I noticed the long red hair and the rabbit ears, and I was noticing the sledgehammer from when him and Eric teamed up.
Eric is Rowan.
Eric. Okay, so Harper and him teamed up to be the Bludgeon Brothers and all that. So I knew his character. I knew who he was. For the rest of them, I had to.
It was speculation. It was like, okay, who are they gonna put there?
But also, you have to think. I'm having to sit here and something that was pointed out to me was take a look at the tattoos on the arms, and that'll give you who you need to know. So I started looking at the Vulture. I was like, oh, that's Loomis. That's good, because you have to think all these characters. Loomis had a mysterious mystique to him when he was coming up there exactly through NXT. Gacy had the schism, so that was kind of a dark society group, cult, whatever, however you want to place that, and that was that. And the fact that they all can coincide, they all had a dark history or a dark past or something dark about them that put them together perfectly. And so seeing Dexter as the Vulture, because you're so used to seeing him crawling on his hands and knees.
Right.
And then your comment was, take a look. If you do your homework, take a look at Dexter's hands. Dexter didn't go anywhere without the gloves. That was also another giveaway to me. Okay, that's Dexter Loomis. So that was good. The tattoos and the gloves and everything else. I was like, that's good. So now I'm having to look at okay, who's Huskus the Pig. And Alyssa's like, if you think about it, because Alyssa and I like to talk a lot while we're watching wrestling. She's like, look at the armbands. Who would wear the armbands like that? And it made me think back. The only person I could think of clearly, vividly in my head was Gacy. She's like, put the pieces together. Gacy.
So like you hadn't seen him in months.
And he lost some serious weight.
He really
He's clearly been doing the muscle man dance.
Yeah. And I'm over here. Yeah. Okay. Bye. Good night.
And the fact with that y'all brought them together and it was intricate, and then you saw all the massacres and you started noticing, why are all these people getting decimated or they're getting taken down? What does every one of those victims have in common?
They betrayed somebody.
They
turned their back on somebody.
Exactly.
Or something.
And
we started running the list. We were like, okay, let me think. Chad.
Well, let's just hit the list here. I've got it provided for us so we can go through. So let's start with, of course, the main one, that everybody is well aware of, and that's Chad Gable. So start with him.
Chad, that mess is crazy. All of a sudden, we're just going. You're going through the wreckage. You're going through the carnage. You're going through all that. You're sitting over there looking out for that little light that was like over there.
Flickering.
All the little sparks and junk. I'm like, oh shit. Watch out. And then all of a sudden, just on that little box. Beside that box, propped up on the little box. I'm like,
I'm trying to figure out the
snap.
the blood and the bullet. And the fact that and it was stated.
And it was that night too. They
left. The group finally said they had enough after everything. They finally and I like how it was pointed out. You started being this way and you started acting this way and you stopped saying thank you. And it's just like, what's going on with you? You were great. You were good when you first got everyone started, but now it's just you're just a whole different person. And that's probably why they came for him last, but got him. His was the most major impact because the blood and the bullet one. It's like,
we were like, did he get shot? What is going on?
But the funny thing, all this was happening backstage while the match was going on in the middle of the ring. So nobody heard anything. It was like quiet pew pews and
swear. Got the silencer on. Don't play with them.
Don't play with them for real.
Well now continuing on the list though, and it's important to note that every person that was involved other than Gable was a stunt double that was, meant to portray a character. They have not gotten to the actual person yet. But they basically brought in people to portray certain people to kind of give warning that's like, Gable's just who we're starting with, but there are others coming. So running lists here so everybody can have about a minute or so on each one. There were two characters that were in the back that were supposed to resemble Gunther and Ludwig Kaiser. Both turning on Giovanni Vinci.
You could see I was clearly able to see the stunt double or the double for Gunther. He was up underneath what looked like to be the Mello character.
Yeah, Carmelo Hayes was going to be next on the list, but he was back there as well. Carmelo was part of it.
You have to think about who did Mello turn on. Trick. He turned on Trick. So they're coming for everybody that has betrayed family or friends who were supposed to be like family. Mm-hmm. And again, y'all turned on Ludwig and Gunther turned on Vinci. Mm-hmm. And I was like, ooh, and he hasn't done nothing. But for the fact that y'all would do that, and you would think instead of coming after him, he would go after Ludwig because it was like
Ludwig who did it.
But who was giving the orders? Who was pulling the strings
Gunther
to that?
Pulled
exactly.
The strings,
so you came for both of them. You came for Mello. You came for Gable. And it's like all these people have turned their backs on someone that they claim to care about, or claim the group of people they claim to care about, but
And then you look, one other interesting name that was back there, the only female character that was part of the assault was Io Sky.
She turned on Bailey. She turned on Bailey.
Was the main one leading damage control the other way.
Yeah, exactly.
But also, you got to think damage control needs change. So, it's like, what are they playing with here? Like,
they playing with fire right now.
It's one of those things where it's like, I don't know where they're going with it, but I'm excited to see the ride.
and then the other interesting ones, and the speculation, of course, being were the two other names that typically run in the back, and that being Triple H and Jim Cornette. Both being in the back. Now, they could just be, they were simply just in the line of fire and could just be collateral damage, but also, are they viewed as the two people who potentially turned on Vince McMahon when, the company was taken over and Vince was outed? Again, that's a topic we can go into at a later time, but you look at that, and obviously, this has to be, an approved storyline by Triple H himself in order for this to be run. But Wyatt was always Vince's guy, so now you turn and you say, okay, is this a situation where maybe they're gonna tie that in there, because there was, the Vince Devil is part of the group for a little small amount of time as well.
That is good. Again, it's long-term storytelling in the making. So
at its finest.
That could be a good play on things too.
I was about to say, I noticed while I was on, I think, Instagram yesterday, I saw like a picture where they literally brought these characters to life. Mm-hmm. Like, I saw them in their puppet forms, in their doll forms, and then seeing them like as the actual character, and they had them side by side. I wish I had saved it so I could show y'all, but Lord, I was like, wow, they did a really good job bringing these characters to life. And honestly, just from first glance, I don't think they could have picked better people. They were creepy. They had my behind in my chair like, wait. I was like, wait, I kind of want to watch some SpongeBob now so I can laugh before I go to sleep. So I'm trying to go to bed tonight. Y'all playing games. And then also, I like the fact that you never know where they're going to be. Like, I can't tell you how many times I thought they were going to show up on SmackDown. Like, when Drew was sitting over there whooping up on CM Punk, I was like, oh my God, he's still there. Come get it, someone. And everybody was sitting there backed up, and they were like, oh, it's Drew. But then that man picked them up, just started walking. I was like, whoa.
Well, here's an interesting play into something else that was commented on. Each of the Wyatt Sicks members are also people that were misunderstood in their original forms. You look at people like Dexter Lumis, part of the way, but was always the one that kind of was on the outside and the one that was outstanding. You look at Nikki Cross, always the odd member of Sanity, always the forgotten member of Alexa and Nikki, even though she was equally as good. Had to be almost a superhero.
Let's not forget about Gacy when he came out with Schism. Who was the first person that left Schism? It wasn't him. It was Ava. Ava left,
Well, they all left together.
So you have to think.
But even when he was sitting there going through his NXT storylines, everybody would always target him because he was being weird or whatever. Like that, his little thing with Dijak or his thing going with the chairman. Like,
and even if you go all the way to Uncle Howdy, who was originally, of course, Bo Dallas. His idea of Bo leaving in Bo, just never quite got over. But all of these people have a similarity in the fact that they all believed in a cause, and even if they had to walk their cause alone, they would do it. So now all of them have united together into a front, and saying, So, I mean, that's an interesting place in terms of, how who was chosen for these particular roles.
But also think about it like this. They've already shown you who they're going to get with the stunt doubles, but let's even take it one further. Ava for Gacy, and because she's the only one still here, she's down at NXT, doing her thing, and then you have to think now Dexter probably could come for Andy now that she knows that he's behind this, and she's wanting a divorce and seeing the sad pictures for that. Also thinking he could be coming for Theory, because Theory was a bit of a headache when he first started that group. He could be coming for Johnny Gargano and Candice, because Candice was a bit of a headache too. This is third. The only person I think truly understood Dexter was Indy, and now that she wants a divorce, that might be open season for her too. So because no one's out of play. So and then and you have to think Nikki and Piper grouped together for a little bit. So and what is Piper doing? She's trying to work her way up the ladder. She's been here for a little minute. She's trying to get her championship. So Nikki could see that and saying, "Hey, I had my run this at the third. Now I've been put on the back burner. You didn't want to team with me, or you thought you were too good for me. Alexa thought she was too good for me." What?
I just had a thought. What if they run rampant all over Money in the Bank? Because think about it. The doubles that they had, like Carmelo, like Io, they've already qualified. You've got Gunther. He's gone for the...
He's working his way to the World Heavyweight title match later on.
You've got Triple H is going to be all over that thing. You've got... Gunther, like I said, you got Io, she qualified. You got Carmelo, he qualified. Didn't I hear something about Seth? Seth is getting the whole match. Seth was involved with that. They're going to be all over that thing.
Also, Seth is in the title match.
Y'all are screwed.
Also, think about it like
My God.
Think about it like this. Jay has ducked them for now.
Yeah.
He's already qualified too. So
they're about to go crazy. I was sitting here literally thinking about the list, and I'm like, these people are qualified for these matches. These people are holding title matches. Like, because Gunther's supposed to get one, right? And Seth is supposed to get the other one. They were both in that list.
And my gosh. Think about it like this from this perspective, and I brought it up last night to both you. What happens if Jay wins Money in the Bank, the lights go out, he's at the top of the ladder, fireflies come on. He can't dip like he wants to.
He gonna jump off that ladder. He gonna land on somebody's hat, and then he getting on.
I feel like they could possibly, because Jay is a target too. And as much as Jay said, I don't want the smoke, I don't want nothing y'all got to bring. Y'all can have him back.
I don't really think it matters what he wants.
It's not going to matter. When they come for you, they coming for you, and they're coming for you full force. Now it's the play on words, and everybody's been talking about it. They have 5 members of this group. There's a potential 6th member. Is it Bray Wyatt, and he's looking down on him, and he is the potential 6th member in spirit form? Is it going to be Alexa when she comes back? Because she was a big part of that thing when it was her and Brayton. She did very good work. Creeped me out to the point that said, God, you got this, girl. Not me. But you got it. You got it. You know, when she was doing her different things with Bray. So I feel like she could be the potential 6th member. And Bray, obviously, looking down and looking, the fact that y'all are carrying out his legacy and his story and everything that he brought to the table as far as these characters, to me, I feel like that's a beautiful...
tribute.
It's a full circle. I feel like that's a beautiful thing, and the fact that and then let's take it a step further. JoJo's watching. She watches, so you're thinking that's what better way to remember him.
It is interesting the fact that you bring up JoJo, because she actually had been off of social media for quite a while, unless it was related to any of their kids. But Nash Sicks, and yes, that is his middle name. Recently turning 5 years old, so but you would wonder, is there any possibility at all that they might bring JoJo back to be like a representation of maybe such a Sister Abigail or somebody like that for this storyline? Because of course everyone just assumes it's going to go to Alexa. Liv Morgan was considered, but now with her being in the title picture, I don't see that one as likely.
I feel like that's a whole nother story, play on words when it comes to Judgment Day and her and Rhea when Rhea gets back. That's a whole thing right there. So I don't see her. It was nice. It was speculated for a while.
Well, the one thing you can talk about, though, is the fact that a lot of these betrayals can go all the way back to the NXT days for a number of these people, which means you have essentially, you talk about long-term storytelling. There are so many strings that are now being tied to this one group to where essentially, like, you can't miss any part of Raw, SmackDown, or NXT because they literally could show up in any storyline at just about any time for reasons of their choosing. Because I don't think just these singular people are it, I mean, I think this is just the opening salvo, with Gable likely being written first. And it's also interesting that we'll go ahead and bring up, and returning it back full circle to Chad Gable. Let's recall that he, surprisingly, even though he might be a ghost, has been medically cleared for his Money in the Bank qualifying match. But think about who the other 2 people are that are going to be in that same qualifying match. You've got Bronson Reed, and Braun Strowman,
Strowman
a former
was
Wyatt family member.
Oh.
He's been set up for disaster.
Yeah.
Because he was the black sheep. He was the tall black sheep of that family. And he ended up leaving before it was all said and done. So that's a
lot of victims and a lot of different stories to be told.
And the interesting thing is, you want to make sure you follow NXT and SmackDown, and you want to see who they're going to go after and why are y'all going after. Everybody's got their speculations, but for the Wyatt Sicks, or the Wyatt 5, Wyatt 6, it might be y'all have these speculations. Some of it might be right, some of it not so much. We're going to show you out of left field, out of right field. This is why we're going after these people. So I'm looking at the fact this is going to be interesting. This is going to be creepy. This is going to be scary. The fact that you have so many dark characters.
I was about to say, that is one thing I will say about this storyline. Because I didn't get to really watch The Fiend, because that was kind of before I got here. But, like, just watching Bray before, it gave the same goosebumps. Like, I remember when he made the return, and I was like, woo, I'm scared.
Because, Kia, you got to see the return in Philly, and you got to see him live. We all did at Royal Rumble when he faced LA Knight.
Yeah.
You know,
like that just was something
pitch black
else.
match or whatever it was called.
Watching that was something else, and at least in the first one, they did justice. Like, I was sitting over there scared. They all came together. They did the same lantern block. Like, I was just like, woo! Like, I got little chill bumps right here just thinking about it. Like, oh, scared, cold, and watching my back.
That's the one. That's the one thing you can say about this is going to be just another very similar thing to what they did with the Bloodline for the last 2 years. It becomes much watch TV.
Yeah,
like you can't miss. Either get it or get your DVR set or whatever. But you simply can't miss an episode because you don't know when you're going to miss something. There's so many people who are pissed off that they skipped NXT and missed Joe Hendry. You know, and now
I feel like it's like you said, it's must-watch TV. They did it with The Shield. They did it with the Bloodline. The Bloodline had a lot, and they're still telling their story, but that's not the show of what we're talking about. And then they're doing it with the Wyatt Sicks. So if you miss, my thing is, if you miss any one story, one piece, you're gonna have to go back and you're gonna have to go back to YouTube or TikTok or Instagram, wherever they're putting the footage, and you're gonna have to kind of piece it together yourself, or you're gonna have to talk to someone who did watch and say, okay, fill me in, clue me in, so forth.
What's going on?
What happened? What did I miss? If I were y'all and I'm us, do not miss. And with that being said, thank you for tuning in. We love having y'all. We'll try to do this more often.
Do a little better.
I'll say we got a decent audience for this one. I'd love to throw a Q&A time in here towards the end of these episodes. Let our audience throw some questions in here. So those that are watching us, I see like Johnny, Patrick, a number of people that are in the thing, Azul. Definitely make sure you take the time to, join us whenever you see us go live, and we always take a little Q&A time at the end, so I'd like to jump that in here whenever possible, Joseph, as well. And
honestly, that'd be good to get, like, if you want to pick our brains, get our take on it, we want to hear what you have to say, because I feel like back and forth, feedback between everybody, kind of piecing all these stories together or whatever we're talking about is good. So
I was about to say, because they may have a completely different theory
take
than
on
we
it.
do.
Exactly.
Yeah, they might have seen something we didn't see. Did y'all see this? Girl, no. What?
And so
what is it?
We'd love to get, if you have pictures, if you want to tell us your side, your speculations, what you think could happen. Yeah. I think it'd be that much more fun with more people with different sides. Exactly. Interaction.
So we'll do we'll see what we can come up with on our calendar to try to see if we can get like a regular date and time, or just we're gonna have something once a week or once every other week or something like that.
We'll figure out something.
Last note to throw out here. This is where we can make the official announcement. We're on Cameo.
Yeah. Woo! Go girl. High five, Steve. Personalized shout outs, birthday surprises. If you want to pick our brains, ask a question, get a personalized answer, throw it at us. Go on there. We're excited.
We've been looking to get in here, and we're one of only, I think if I remember, we're only one of 5 wrestling content creators that are approved for Cameo. I think Tantalizing Tony's on there. And then there's a couple of others, but I think we're only the 5th to ever be
Right.
accepted to
Nice.
that. So it's kind of a big deal.
That's cool.
I mean,
beans.
really,
I like
that's-
it.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Well, yeah, I
Watch
mean that's
it.
thanks to y'all. I mean, again, if
Yeah.
without our
Audience.
Audience,
OTRA
exactly.
universe behind us, we're nothing.
So we love you guys and girls, and
Everybody.
the fact that it's been accepted, first of all, for girls to create content, wrestling content, and to actually do what we love. That makes it that much more awesome for us to want to talk about it. Now I feel like I know what I want our next show to be, the Bloodline storyline, because that's long storm.
That's gonna be a show on its own.
That's gonna
because
whole
don't even
show.
get us
That's a whole
started, child.
show. That's a whole show by itself. Lord,
But
have
either
mercy.
way, we'll catch y'all on the flip side. Bye.
out.
Now, pour the tea.